The whole Horizon Zero Dawn clone thing with Sony versus Tencent, that all has actually just been resolved. It's kind of been privately, quietly. We don't know like all of the details on the resolution, but apparently it has happened according to court filings that have just been obtained. So if you don't know, if you're a bit out of the loop here, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's basically a gaming IP that is owned by Sony, owned by PlayStation. It is pretty good from what I've heard. Haven't played it myself, but we see there's a lot of very positive ratings here at least. I've been told to not just base everything on Steam reviews, and fair enough, but I have heard from a few people that it is pretty good. And yeah, basically the whole thing was that Tencent, they're a huge Chinese game publishing company. They had a game in the works that was called Light of Motiram, or Motiram, I'm not sure how to say it. Basically, up until now, it has been in the works. It hasn't actually been released yet, but the whole thing was that the artwork of this game was allegedly very similar. Basically, it looked like what could be alleged as a Horizon Zero Dawn clone. We see right here is just an example of Horizon Zero Dawn, the game, kind of just the base artwork, and then we see right here, this is the alleged clone. This is the Tencent Light of Motiram game. Yeah, and it looks like it's kind of got the same vibe to it, I suppose. Playable character has the bow and arrow, and there's a bunch of like huge mechanical dinosaur-looking things in the background with like huge grassy terrain all around. I mean, yeah, I suppose that is similar. Although I don't just want to outright say that, it totally is a clone, because one, I don't know that. And two, I mean, art is subjective. I mean, art's always something that's going to be borrowing from other kind of art. So it's kind of like one of those things like, where is the line? Where do we draw the line? I don't really know. And that's kind of why they were going to court. It was going to be Sony versus Tencent. Sony was saying, hey, you copied off of our game. But all of that has actually just come to a quiet resolution. So this is all by the game post. I have linked this in the description. So it says Sony and Tencent's legal battle over Light of Motiram, a game Sony previously described as a Horizon lookalike. It appears to have reached its end. So the lawsuit was filed by Sony in July of this year in a California federal court. It accused Tencent and its subsidiaries of copying major elements from the Horizon series, including its world, characters, and overall presentation. So yeah, essentially this has been going on for about 5 months now, and there's been a lot of back and forth up to the point where it really did look like this was going to head to like a real, like maybe even a jury trial or some sort of a court trial. But no, it says in a new court filing submitted earlier today and obtained by the Game Post, it appears the lawsuit is over. So it says, according to the filing, Sony and Tencent jointly asked the court to dismiss the case under a rule that allows both sides to end the lawsuit by agreement. The document makes it clear that the decision follows a confidential settlement between all parties involved. And yes, it looks like this was granted. We got all the legal text right here, but basically, yes. All of this, it looks like, was dismissed. So what exactly was agreed upon? We don't necessarily know, but people were quick to point it out, and I checked it for myself. This is true. The Light of Motiram game, the game that I always feel like I'm saying it wrong when I say it out loud, it is no longer on storefronts. I mean, I clicked on the Steam link for the game, and that just takes me to the Steam homepage, which always means that the link just basically no longer works. Basically, the game has been delisted. So this game by Tencent, it must have been somewhere in the agreement, probably a pretty big part of the agreement, that the game is not going to come out. That in and of itself is, a victory for Sony, not a victory for Tencent. And for the whole gaming community, and kind of like as I previously described, the whole issue, the moral issue, I guess, with art, it's probably not a victory there too. Clearly, this was something that was enough to make the argument that the game was a sort of clone, a sort of ripoff, or at least I suppose so much so that this was settled where the game, the alleged copycat game, was removed from storefronts under that agreement, probably. Again, obviously, since these details are private, we don't actually know all of the details, like what was in the agreement, but it is very, very safe to assume that the delisting of this game was part of it. So the Horizon Zero Dawn clone is pretty much, from what I can see, now dead. All of the work that has been done on it, for better or for worse, has really just now gone to nothing.